Hi-de-ho there, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Sweeney here with another session of Mr. Sweeney's computer tips and tricks. Today, I'm going to show you how to download your photos from an iPhone or a smartphone directly to your computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this little folder down in the bottom here. And you should have it somewhere down in your start bar. This is the Windows Explorer folder. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to open up two of these folders. So the first one I'm going to click on, and you'll see the folder open up. Now, one of the fine features of Windows 7 is that you can actually snap these folders to the left or the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mouse cursor over to the side while I'm holding the window, and you actually see the rectangular box pop up, so you can snap that into the right side. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go down here to the Windows Explorer again, but this time when you click on the Windows Explorer, you're going to actually right-click with your mouse. So you right-click with the mouse, you'll see this pop up, and I want you to open up or click on the Windows Explorer again and snap one over to the left-hand side of the folder. Now, the reason why we do this is because when you download your photos, if you don't download your photos to your computer, if you simply connect your iPhone to the computer, you cannot drag the photos in, and I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. But what you don't see off camera is I've got my iPhone set off to the side, I've got my cable connected to it, I've got my iPhone unlocked, and when you unlock your iPhone and you connect it with a USB cable, you're going to see a message that pops up that asks you if you will allow the device to have access to your photos. You must click allow. If you do not click allow, it will not work. Now, this next part is kind of important. I know this is going to be difficult for some people, especially some of you folks that, well, you might be a little bit involved with the social media too much, let's just say. What you need to do at this point next is you need to put your phone down and don't touch it. And maybe I'd even recommend apples up, because if you put apples up, then you won't be tempted to mess with the phone. So put the phone down, don't mess with it. The reason why you want to leave it alone is for actually two possible reasons. Number one, if you're like me and you buy those cables off of eBay, you know, you get like 10 cables for 99 cents. They don't last too long. And if the connections break down, you lose the connection with your computer and iPhone, and you have to start the process all over again. The other thing that you might run into a problem with is maybe you're like me and you keep that phone in your front pants pocket, and maybe you get those little dust bunnies down inside the jack. Well, if they get down inside there, that can also corrupt the connection between the phone and the computer and cause the connection to break down. And then you have to start the process all over again. So again, put your phone down, maybe apples up, and just leave it alone for a few minutes, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the screen or the window on the left-hand side here as my phone, and I'm going to use the one on the right-hand side as my actual pictures album. And let me just open this up here. I'm going to create a new folder, and we'll call this one Test 2. Okay, so there's my Test 2 folder. I'll click on that one and open it up. Nothing's in the folder, of course. I'm going to travel back over to the left side, and somewhere underneath your computer, and your computer could be set up a little bit different, but if you don't see this initially, if you don't see an Apple iPhone or your smartphone, click on your computer and you should be able to locate it somewhere under there. Click on the Apple iPhone, and then you're going to see internal storage. Hopefully your phone's not jacked up. If it's jacked up and you've got too much stuff on there, you're going to see this is red. And certainly reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk with you about how you can conserve a little space in your phone. But you'll double click on this. You'll see DCIM. I believe that stands for Digital Camera Interface Media. You're welcome to comment on this video and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you click on that, you'll see I have several folders here on mine, and I'm going to click on just the very last one, and there's a cool little trick that you can do with this little drop down. I'll show you this later on, but for now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Now, let me just open up Print Shop. I've got a Print Shop file open here, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what happens if you attempt to try to drag from your photos into Print Shop. Let's see if this, you're going to notice that it doesn't work. You get that little circle with a line through it. That will not work. Okay, so what you've got to do, and I'll set this back down to the bottom. Actually, I minimize it. Snap this one over to the right. You've got to take the photo here, and I'll grab a picture of my son and drag it over to this folder. Once you drag it over to the folder, then at this point, you can take this photo and you can actually drag it into Print Shop. I'll lay this one back on top, and again, here's a picture of my son. He loves playing with my phone. But anyhow, that's how you do it. You drag the photos from your Apple iPhone into your computer, and then after you drag it into your computer, then at that point, you should be able to drag it over. Now, I do want to show you one other really cool tip and trick that you can do. When you have a whole lot of photos in here, which I have a whole lot of photos, what you can do is you can drag this little, click on this little drop down right here, and you can actually make these bigger and smaller, okay, which might make it a little bit easier for you to sort through. Hey, let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Feel free to put some comments in this. Once again, this has been a session of Mr. Sweeney's Tips and Tricks. Hope you find this helpful. Have a great day.